this interrogation has failed. Game over.
But this brings me back to chapter 5, verse 46 and 47 of the Quran. In order to take this passage seriously, a passage that addresses me personally as a person of the gospel, a Christian, I run into a problem. If I judge the Quran by the gospel, which I am commanded to do in order to not be one of the defiantly disobedient, I find that the Quran misunderstands, lacks comprehension of, and outright contradicts the Torah and the gospel. So if the Quran is true, and I obey it in this instance, by the standards it tells me to judge by, I find the Quran false.
Actually, it's a very weak kind of assessment of Islamic theology because it's something no Islamic scholar has ever understood Islam to mean. We'll start firstly with the first claim that he mentions in chapter number 5, verse number 47, that Allah mentions that basically you've got to rule by the Torah, right, and so on. And whoever does not rule by what Allah has revealed, then they are the disbelievers. I mean, all it takes is for him to have read the next verse, which says that وَأَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ بِالْحَقِّ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ وَمُهَيْمِنًا عَلَيْهِ. Okay, now this is a very important phrase because actually muhaymin, this terminology, is used to describe Allah. So what does the verse mean? It says, and we have sent down the book, i.e. the Quran now. Yep. Okay, we have sent down the Quran to you in truth to affirm that which has come before it. وَمُهَيْمِنًا عَلَيْهِ, and a guardian over it. Muhaymin is a guardian. In this context, there's nothing this word can mean except that it's a distinguisher from what is true and what is false. And that is what the mufassirs or the exegetes of old and in the contemporary period have all understood the word to mean. Meaning what? That from the corrupted versions of the Bible, from the corrupted versions of, and we don't even believe in the Bible. And the Quran does not mention the word Biblios or Bible, which means book in the Greek language. It's not something that's mentioned in the Quran. But say for the sake of argument, the corrupted version of Torah, the corrupted version of the Injil, which don't even exist. Even that corrupted version of Torah, Allah says in the Quran in the very next verse that he does, for some reason, conspicuously omits, says that the Quran is going to be that which distinguishes truth from falsehood in that regard. So that already breaks the argument that we have to use the Old Testament and the New Testament somehow, the corrupted versions thereof in today's world and the contents therein as some kind of ultimate authority, especially one, as he goes on to say in a very problematic and actually comical sense, an authority over the Quran itself. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, well, why doesn't he read the Quran in its entirety? It looks to me that he's following the footsteps of those apologists, Christian apologists, who have used this Quranic dilemma argument, which has flopped time and time again.